Hi there, my name's Kevin and this is Paul. We're here from Andertons Music to talk to you today about AIRA. We are very fortunate today to have two of these new products with us. So we have the TR-8 Rhythm Performer, which Paul is showing off here. It's a 16-step drum sequencer. It's cool. Just showing it around because it's quite a nice, sexy looking thing. We also have the TB-3 Touch Bassline, which I'm going to show you now, which is quite cool. We're going to show these in a bit more detail shortly, but in essence they have the sound and vibe of very similar older legendary Roland products, but with some new cool features for the modern age, which is pretty cool. Cool, so we've moved it around a little bit to pop a camera in the middle so you can see what we're doing. So we're going to create a basic beat, like a 4 to the floor thing with kick, hi-hat and snare. And we're going to tweak some of the parameters just to show you what kind of things you can do.
So we're using a step sequencer mode. First we're going to put 4 to the floor. We can do offbeat snare. You can adjust every single sound. You got particular controls, so you can tune it. You can make it more snappy. You can adjust the decay of the sound, perhaps compress a little bit. Do offbeat hi-hat. Maybe layer a clap on top. You can obviously set the levels for every single sound, which is useful for performance mode as well. But that's basically our basic beat done using step sequencer mode.
There's also this instant record thing, which is quite cool, where we can use the buttons at the bottom to add patterns that we play just by pressing the buttons. So just try add some toms and stuff to that pattern. So now we're going to put in a high tom.
So once we've done is we can swing the beat. It makes the beat a little bit more organic, a little bit more listenable.
Cool. Okay, so that was our basic beat. At the top of the TR-8 we've got Reverb and Delay and an accent feature as well. The accent feature is a global effect where we can make a particular step more prominent in its cycle. The Reverb and Delay you can actually add to a particular instrument on any particular step, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to do that, take that beat that we had before and just apply these effects to that.
So say we want to apply accent to our beat, so I want to put accent on every other. All I have to do is notice that I'm in a step sequencer mode and I just press the accent on the hit that I want to apply the accent to, and you can set the level of that. Accent is a global feature, so it will basically affect the beat all over. Reverb is different. Reverb you can apply to individual hits. So again, if I want reverb, say on snare and perhaps on the clap, now what I can do is I can only enable the instrument that I want the reverb to be applied to. So at the moment it's clap and it's the snare drums. Okay, I can disable them, enable them, and I can adjust the sound of this. So if I want it a little bit smaller, gated, I can use those controls there to change the reverb. But also, if I go to instruments, it gives me 8 types of different reverb I can apply. So if I turn it up, you can hear the effect. And you can hear how they're changing. They're quite different, every one of them. So you can choose the sound you like, use the controls to shape it, and then apply it to the hits that you want to apply it to. And that's basically it. The same works for delay. If you want to apply delay, it's exactly the same concept. You can apply it to every single hit. And there is again an instrument. You've got 8 different types of delay that you can use.
So at the top of the video we kind of briefly mentioned about new features and ideas for your modern day performer. So we're going to look at a couple of these things now, scatter being one of them, which is quite cool. It's going to add, well, it's got 10 patterns, and it's going to add some interesting variations to the sequence that we're using. So we're going to try and chuck a few things in here. if you want to kick off the beat again, Paul, we're going to see what it will do. This is a brief look at TR-8. We're going to move over to the TB-3 now, which is my favourite of the two that we've brought here today. So what we've got here is a nice touchscreen interface, which is really responsive. It's pretty cool. We've also got 16 lights at the top here. This is to do with the sequence patterns that you can have in here. You can it actually supports 32-step bass patterns, but we do have 16 lights on here. But we can alter these patterns, which we'll show you in a moment. We've got the usual things that you'd expect to find: cutoff, resonant, accent again, which is quite useful, and then applied effects for the various patches that we've got in here. Under bank A are all your TB-3 sounds, which are pretty cool. Under banks B and C, we have B, we have some bass stuff, and C, we do have some lead stuff as well, which we might have a quick look at. But what we're going to do now is actually hook the two together. So the TR-8 to the TB-3. We're going to send a MIDI clock from one to this, and show you what's possible when you link the two together. So we've got a TB-3 sound on here, and we're just going to kick off a sequence. So here, we're going to dial in the accent. Quite cool. And I'll fiddle with the cutoff. Got effects you can bring in. So pretty cool thing. So we've got the two hooked up at the moment. So we're feeding the MIDI out from the TR-8 to the TB-3 input. Also have a listen as well, because we're gonna muck around with a few things. We're gonna play around with the scatter on both things, but we're also got this hooked up. So the TB-3's outputs are running to the external in on the TR-8, so we can sidechain stuff as well. So have a little listen for that, because this is really cool. So again, over to you, Paul. Let's kick this off.
Just to point out, we are using the typical sort of dance music sidechain scenario, where we're basically sidechaining the bass to the kick. And you can see that I've got it set up on every beat where the bass drum is. We are in the step sequencer mode, and the same principles apply as we did with delay and reverb. We just press whichever hit you want it on, and I'm gonna bring it in so you can hear the result. You will hear how the bass is basically giving space to kick to come through. That's basically your standard dance music sidechaining scenario that you would expect.
There's been a lot of build-up about these four instruments, and so it's nice to finally get our hands on something. So we're going to stop talking and just muck about with them a little bit, and see what you think, to be honest with you. So Paul's going to start fiddling around with the TR-8 and dropping it in and out. I'm going to fiddle around with the TB-3, because the essence of these things, it's live performance, getting stuck in, hands-on control, and yeah, extremely good. Cool. So that's a wrap from us really today. Just one thing I really want to point out is that we've had these online for a couple of hours. Lovely chat from Roland's driven down today, gone for a cup of coffee, and we've had about 20 minutes before starting to film, where we've sat down and started to play around with this. And the results we've got today have literally been from about 20 minutes of just faffing about with it really. So they're intuitive, they're great to get your hands on and get stuck in. Available from March time, so come into the store and have a little look. Come and have a chat to me and Paul. But for more information, go to andertons.co.uk and check out the website. But from there, until March, that's it from us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.